They say trees remember. Some trees whisper in the wind, some bleed when cut, and some feed on more than just sunlight. There was a baobab tree at the edge of our village, thick-trunked, ancient, and raw. It was older than any grave, any elder, any story we knew. No one ever touched it. No one fetched shade beneath it. Not even birds dared to nest in its branches. It stood like a sentinel, a thing with ears, a thing with memory. Children were warned. Travelers were told. New mothers tied red cloth to their babies so the tree wouldn't hear their names. We were told to keep our distance. Because that baobab didn't just grow, it listened. And it remembered every secret told in its shade. When I was 16, my life was split in half. My parents divorced, a bitter war fought with lawyers and silence, and I was sent to the north to live with my grandmother in a village that maps had forgotten. The air smelled of dust and old firewood. The roads bled red clay when it rained, and the baobab, it stood on the outskirts, half swallowed by dry bush, like it had always been waiting. My grandmother was a small, wiry woman. Her eyes missed nothing. Her mouth missed no prayers. And from the first night, she gave me 3 rules. Never eat after sunset without prayer, never speak ill of the dead, and never go near the baobab, not alone, not even in daylight. I asked her why. She didn't answer with words, just looked at me, her mouth pressed thin, her hands suddenly trembling. That silence scared me more than any story could have. That night, I dreamed of the baobab, of its branches stretching, creaking, and dragging shadows across my wall. I woke up choking on soil clinging to my tongue, like I'd been eating the ground. I met a girl named Sewa a few weeks later. She was 17, barefoot most days, and always had a red bead around her wrist. We became friends. Slow, shy laughter under mango trees and walks after morning chores. One day, during Harmattan, she asked if I wanted to see something strange. We walked past the last compound, past the goat pens and the yam mounds, and into the thinning bush. There it was, the baobab. Alone, towering, its bark cracked like old skin, its roots like veins across the earth. I come here when I'm scared, she said, stepping closer. Why here? I asked. Because it never tells. Before I could stop her, she leaned in close and whispered something, right into the bark. The wind stopped. The birds went silent. Even the crickets paused. And then the tree paused. Yes, the bark moved, just a little, like it exhaled through its cracks. She smiled and walked away like it was nothing. I ran. The next day, Sewa was gone. Her father searched. Her auntie screamed her name into the fields. Her slippers were found near the baobab, placed neatly. No footprints, no drag marks, just gone. The elders said she must have eloped, but no girl in that village left without her bead. My grandmother didn't speak for hours. She just sat on her stool, fingers shaking as she peeled cassava. That night, she covered my window with a cloth soaked in salt water, but it didn't help. I woke up around 3 a.m. to scratching, soft, persistent, like something dry and sharp dragging across wood. I froze. When morning came, I checked the window. 7 marks, long and deep, etched like claws, and the baobab, it looked closer, as if the earth had shuffled it forward. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. Why don't we burn it? I demanded. Or cut it down? My grandmother slapped me, not hard, but firm, and not with anger, with fear. You don't destroy what holds what we cannot, she said. And then she told me the story. Long ago, during a time of drought, the villagers made a pact. They poured libations, slaughtered a white cock, and whispered their sins into the baobab. Each person, every man, woman, and child, gave it one truth, a secret they could not bear. In exchange, they asked for survival, and it answered. Rains came, crops grew, children stopped dying in their sleep. But secrets are heavy, and the tree grew hungry. It began to feed not just on whispers, but on those who carried new secrets. Anyone who came too close with something too heavy in their heart would vanish, swallowed, digested, forgotten. It didn't matter if the secret was shameful or sad or sacred. The baobab fed on truth. And Sewa, she had told it something too raw, too real, and the tree had taken her. I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw bark cracking open like lips. I heard voices whispering, weeping, and laughing too loudly in the dark. I tried to leave the village. Our car broke down. The next day, I woke up with red earth under my nails and no memory of how it got there. I gave up. One evening, I walked out alone, past the yam fields, past the wells, to the edge of the bush, to it. The baobab stood like a throne of silence. I stepped into its shadow, and I spoke. I didn't mean to. The words just came. A secret I hadn't even told myself. A wound from before I was born. And the tree shivered. The air twisted, cold and hot at once. And the wind returned not naturally, full of voices, chanting, murmuring, crying. The bark split slightly, just slightly, and I saw something behind it. Not roots, not wood, eyes. Dozens, watching, remembering. I stumbled back. But the shadow had stretched, farther than it should have.
I ran. I left the village within days. My grandmother passed not long after. They buried her facing away from the baobab, the only one buried that way. Now, I live far. The city hides its ghost in the glow of streetlights, but sometimes I hear scratching at my window, even on the 8th floor, even when there are no trees, and sometimes I wake up with soil in my mouth. They say memory fades, the ghosts lose their shape, but I don't believe that anymore, because truth doesn't die. It waits. It roots itself in you, and if you speak it in the wrong place, it will grow. So if you ever find yourself in the northern bush, and for the love of whatever you worship, and someone points to a tree older than history, don't approach, don't speak, don't whisper, because some trees don't want your voice. They want your truth, and once they have it, they never let it go.